Welcome to my channel. This is called This Does Not Count as Therapy. For obvious reasons, because this does not count as therapy, but I am really passionate about healing, self-awareness, and growth, and how to achieve those things. Therapy is not free. Therapy is a privilege, and so I feel really, really honored to be able to use this platform as means to healing that can help alongside your therapy journey, or while you're in between therapists, or while you're looking for a therapist, or while you're trying to save up for a therapist, right? I do want to note that this is not a replacement for therapy. It's just a place where we talk and we learn and we grow. And if this is something that you're interested in, please stick around, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of those nice things so that you can be updated when I post more. So, in the spirit of learning and growing and starting your own journey of self discovery, I wanted to talk about something that I feel like comes up all the time in therapy sessions and movies and friendships, just dialogue that I have with people, is this concept of being in these romantic cycles, right? So, for example, people always say, oh, I just keep attracting the same man over and over again, or the only people that I can attract are these type of people, and just being so confused as to why they experience almost the same relationship over and over and over again. And I really, really think that this is really cool because a lot of people haven't thought about it from this perspective. They're usually like, oh, this is my type, like, this is just what I like. Or is it what you're used to, right? And so I really, really love this type of therapy called Amago. It is the concept that we constantly seek out these familiar patterns because we're trying to fill a void, or we're trying to get something from it, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say Sally is, really, really passionate about being ambitious and being a career girly, and really, really like just climbing up the corporate ladder, right? But Sally comes from a household where maybe she's a first generation college student, maybe her parents was always yelling, just very loud, very angry. Maybe they did not have a great sense of emotional intelligence, and they were just trying to figure it out, right? And so her familiar environment is this loud, screaming, maybe physical, so fighting, violence. This is what she is used to, right? She spent 18 plus years in an environment where people got into conflicts and resulted into physically fighting, or maybe they, threw low blows, right? Or maybe they used a lot of curse words to explain or to validate their role, right? And so she grows up, goes to college, and she finds herself constantly in an abusive relationship, or she constantly finds herself dating men that are emotionally unavailable, or maybe disrespectful, or maybe just don't know how to love her properly, right? Amago would suggest that Sally is trying to date people that is similar to her upbringing, right? Violent, loud, disrespectful, so that she can change this person, so that she can feel the void. This is all happens subconsciously, right? So I date somebody that reminds me of my household so that I can convince them to change or be better or be nicer. So that way I am feeling the void of not having control over my childhood circumstances. Does that make sense? I had to add this clip in because I'm like, maybe I should give further context. But Amago believes that you are trying to pick the perfect partner to heal your wounds. And so Amago believes that we gravitate towards what's familiar, right? Because in our brains, familiarity equates to safetyness, right? Now, being on the outside looking in, we know disrespect, violence, yelling, cursing, belittling is not necessarily safe, right? It's so easy for us on the outside looking in to see that and be like, what is going on? Like, how does this represent love? How is this safe? But because this is an environment that she equates her childhood years to, this is an environment where this has been normalized. This is an environment where maybe her parents fought each other, and then the next day everything was cool, everything was straight, right? And so because this is what she knows, this is what feels safe. And it's important to remember that, like, we don't know what we don't know. All we know typically, especially before you go off to college and experience life for your own, is all we know is what we see and what we are taught, right? And so we are normalizing these things because in my life they are normal, right? Like my mom calling the police on my dad every single day, right? Like to some people that is normal. That is what they grew up in, right? Their nervous systems and their brains learn to thrive in that environment, right? They have become the type of person that can survive there, and they take those skills and they take what they've learned and they apply it into their adulthood, right? And so what that looks like is maybe the second there's conflict, maybe they run, maybe they leave, right? Maybe they ghost people because they're like, oh, nope, I know what conflict leads to. Conflict leads to drama, conflict leads to fighting, when in reality, you can have conflict, right? Conflict, in most cases, when done in a healthy way, conflict brings intimacy, right? So if me and you have a conflict and we can get through it in a healthy way without violence, without fighting, in turn we get closer, right? Because we that is intimacy. But for somebody that may have grown up in an environment where conflict meant fighting, maybe they run. So maybe they ghost that person, maybe they shut down, maybe they're just like, you know what, I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to be here, but I'm going to dissociate, right? Or maybe they have the adverse response, and maybe when they have conflict with somebody, they themselves immediately go to 10, right? Punching walls, calling somebody 100 times, right? Like on social media, like making posts, negative posts about these people because this is what they've seen. They have equated when we have conflicts, I get mad and I go and I just show out, right? So we know that to these people, they are looking, they are searching for something that feels familiar. This is where healing comes into play, right? Because in order for you to recognize, hey, that environment I grew up in actually probably was not the best example of love, you have to be aware enough to do that work, right? And recognize, okay, I am, without realizing it, searching for this familiar environment when really I need to go the opposite way, right? When this person is showing me love and this person is nice to me and this person is consistent, I don't want that because that involves me to feel uncomfortable. That is putting me in a situation that I'm not familiar with. Whereas this person who we're doing a lot of push and pull, a lot of situationships, that's more familiar. That is predictable, right? Like this person might not talk to me tomorrow, and I'm okay with that because I've learned to cope with that versus I have to be emotionally present with this other person, and that's scary. That's unfamiliar. That is unsafe. So we have to do the work to recognize, like, hey, some of these things that I've carried with me from my childhood may not be the best things to carry. And only you can do that, right? Like I said, it's so easy for people on the outside to recognize that things may not be good versus you because you've normalized a lot of your experiences. In the spirit of healing, I want to suggest an activity, right? So I want you to pause this after I give you the prompt to really just sit with it, just breathe, just think about what comes up, just feel if there's any sensations in your body. But I want you to spend time thinking about what is safe to you. What things, what sounds, what people, what vibes, what moods, what happens around you that communicates to your brain, oh, I'm safe, right? For some people, it could be like putting their bed in a corner and there's walls around them. That could feel like safety, right? To other people, having plants, having color around can feel safe. Maybe being surrounded by people can feel safe. What are some things in your life right now in this moment without judgment? What are some things that you feel like is safe for you? I want you to be honest. I want you to be real. I don't want you to judge yourself, but I think this exercise can jumpstart your path to healing. It can help you recognize maybe what neuroceptions of safe and what neuroceptions of danger have your experience to help you pair.